What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it. Another car edition, inspiration, motivation. Y'all, this thing is moving right along, and we're coming up on June. And thank goodness for Shadeur Sanders and all these boys going to the next level, because they provide us a lot of content this May. Usually, May, December, if they're not in the bowl game. Even January can be a slow time because the transition between the different phases of the season. After the spring game, it's a big gap, pretty much the whole May, where the team kind of has a break, and then you come back for the summer. And because of well off, we have the ability to see what's going on and stuff like that over the past few years. Again, I think a lot is going to change with well off, and it has changed just from different things, from how the rules and how people interact. And now you have Shadeur and Travis and all these guys going to the next level. But you have some things to figure out as far as how he's going to record it, and his team, and expanding his team, whatever he's going to be doing, and where if he's going to be there. Because we know when he records, it's a little different. You can see the editing and everything is different. But we're going to get to see what the team is looking like the next couple weeks or so. And we just been really watching Shadeur for the last month with this whole draft, and really watching him because he kind of ended up in a situation where it just wasn't natural. And a lot of other guys were impacted as well, but it just was obvious with Shadeur. Travis went where he should go. And it's hard to detect everything after Shadeur where it should have went because of his slide. I call it Shadeur slide. So this thing has been big, and making sure he's been treated right in Cleveland, and watching the rookie camp and all that type of stuff. And they got the OTAs coming up and all of that. So he's going to be plenty of activity going over the summer one way or another. So we haven't been talking a lot of Colorado, but we've been noticing that Colorado been sneakily dropping players inside of there as far as that line. And while people not watching, Colorado's getting very thick in that line, which was the biggest thing that they could have, because they have a very mobile quarterback who can throw the ball, some great receivers, diverse, a lot of depth there, and the defense is going to be pretty solid. So it's going to work in Colorado's favor because people already underestimate them. They're not watching. They're watching Shadeur. And Colorado's going to be steady building. They're going to sneak up on some people. And that's going to be interesting. It's going to have that and the NFL to watch. But one of the things that's really, really interesting and good for the Sanders family, I talked about it earlier, about seeing if they're making a little treadway. And it looks like, almost they was blacklisted, blackballed, and you would hope it was just a show and it's all, what they call scripted or whatever, maybe whatever. But it was looking bad. And Shadeur, I don't think that ball fair. He ain't no Denzel. They put him in a crazy spot. Maybe they said, we'll pay him anyway. I don't know what their intention is, but it wasn't good. And it created a lot of emotional responses, distraction, ultimately, and a lot of people just being caught up with that. But one thing that the Sanders family has shown is a bunch of unity, even through that trial where Shadeur got pushed back. Of course, Shiloh got pushed back. The dad, they held it. They held their own. They held their faith. They held their positive, and people wanted to break them, and they didn't get what they wanted. They stayed positive. They stayed motivated. Shadeur's performing, and just like he should and he would anyway. It takes for strong people to go through that, to go through all of this different backlash and negative press and just character assassination. It takes a lot to be able to do that. But I see why it's possible, because none of these guys are alone. Shadeur got his brothers. He got Bucky. He got his dad. He got his family. It shows the power of family. I think when you look at this time of year, you start getting into, holidays is all around, really year-round America now. I mean, we find a way to, like I said earlier, find a way to make a barbecue out of something more than got nothing to do with you. You ain't no military, no family military, and you don't make it into a happy thing. It's Memorial Day. But it's a time for people to get together. You have Mother's Day, you have Father's Day coming up, 4th of July, you skip down a bit Labor Day, then you get into the big ones. You get into Thanksgiving later and Christmas, and you roll back around. Sometimes people kind of split up, Families get older, you would think families get closer. And sometimes they just kind of fizzle apart. And that's a hard thing, because family is important. Family is connection. Family is support. You're not living life alone. Some people don't have no family, and they just long for family, especially when holidays come, because they don't have nowhere to go. They got to go to their friends, or create a friend group, or go to their family, because family is important. And family has been a strong thing for Shadeur. I can imagine him have to go through it. He probably wouldn't go through it if he wasn't in the family, but you imagine he didn't have his brothers there telling the jokes and like, it's all good. We're going to make it, and document it. Because people can do a lot of stuff to you when it's not documented, when they don't feel like people watching it. Paying attention to what's going on. It's like I always say, young kids are more likely to get taken advantage of in every way you can imagine when they don't have support. That's why the father is important, the mother, and even siblings is important, because even when you're in school, you got them siblings around. People ain't trying to people with them siblings there. It's going to be a price, and they know it. But when you isolated, people can gang up on you. And one thing they can't do is gang up on them Sanders, because they got eyeballs and they got support. They got people like us around. And that's that unity factor. That's going to help them get a long way. It's going to help you overcome a lot. It's strength in numbers. And people say, be positive, be positive. It's not just positivity, it's support. Because even in family, everybody don't agree on everything. They might fight each other, but doggone, you ain't finna fight them. And it's a thin line. I know I got on Cam Ward. I don't know what his intention is. I know he's young, and he may be, you just got to watch it. Because you got to know, yeah, you with your friend, but you got to know other people's intent on using what you say against your friend and using you against your friend. And if that's your friend, you got to be more cognizant. And that's what Travis Hunter, he understands that. He understands. He is so much he gonna say. He not gonna play with it, because he know the game. And so that's why I really got on Cam Ward. Hopefully, it's a thin line, man. Because sometimes people can act like they're your friend, and they can go so far, and then they can lay on that friend thing, and then it could be, if they really your friend, it's hard for you to deal with people like that, to get rid of them, because it's like 1 minute they stabbing you, and another minute they hugging you, and it's like they're hugging you to better stab you. So I don't live long enough to see that. Like, people who are supposed to be your friend, they sneaky. And that's who people usually get you. So I don't want to try to put that on Cam Ward, but if he really a friend, he got to watch it. Because it's unity. At some point, he going to need some people to have his back. And they're good people to have your back. Bucky, Record, and stuff like that, they don't support his career when nobody was checking on him. Matter of fact, he benefited from having outlets like the well-offs and things like that, because he was in that circle. And Coach Prime and all them spoke well of him. It's strength in numbers. People got to realize that. And sometimes it's used the wrong way. Yeah, it's good for family. It's good for friends. It's good for really any positive association. It can be used for negative too. But positive association, people stick together, people are less likely to get take advantage of. They less likely to be tricked, because somebody will say, hold up. Strength in numbers, a multitude of counsel. You talk about it in the good book. It's good to have it, as long as it's on the right side of the tracks. But it's a good thing going on in the Sanders family. It's looking positive right now. Hopefully it stay positive. It could be a roller coaster, because it's going to be some decisions made over the next really few weeks, and we're going to see where Shadeur is headed. Wherever he's headed, we're going to know if he's going to be getting a shot or not getting a shot. And what does that look like? Because people want to see him play. Even though he's rookie, people want to see him play. Maybe he need to sit, but nobody want to see him dogged out. You've seen his money get took already. Nobody want to see him get dogged out. But we want to see him get what he's due. He's worked hard. He has the talent. I want to see people treat him like no scrub. So, again, we're going to be keeping an eye. I always talk about that Tanggula box. We keep saying, I guess people got to hit it 100 times. People sitting on that fence, go ahead and get it, because you're going to better see what's going on. You'll see what the press saying. We got a lot of YouTube and Cleveland YouTube. We're going to be able to see what that press saying, because we know they saying some crazy stuff up there. We ain't up there. But if you want to kind of check in, you can check in them Cleveland channels and see what they're saying on the news. Not just ESPN, what they're saying locally. And you'll be able to catch them games, of course, later. So, y'all, go ahead and enjoy y'all Memorial Day, like I said earlier. You might have a barbecue or whatever today, tomorrow. Y'all enjoy. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. And I'll be talking to y'all soon.